Fellas, chicas, classic WoW community, allow me to take your hand and guide you through the quests and loot associated with Razorfen Downs. First things first, RFD has mobs range from levels 34 to 41, so you can clear the content around 36 or 37, but the most important thing to note is the minimum level requirement for all the quests. It's a little messed up, but the Alliance has to be level 39 in order to complete the big quest in here, whereas Horde only need to be level 37. Let's take a look at those quests. There are 2 Horde-specific quests, 1 Alliance, and 2 neutral quests for Razorfen Downs. Again, Alliance need to be level 39 to complete them all, whereas Horde only needs to be 37. Starting off with the Horde, we've got an Unholy Alliance. Now this quest chain has begun from a small scroll which is dropped off the last boss in Razorfen Crawl, Charlga Razorflank. Once you pick up this item, you need to speak to Varamathras located in the Undercity. From here, you'll receive the final quest to retrieve Ambassador Malkin's head, who can be found spawned in 3 different locations outside of Razorfen Downs. The second Horde quest, Bring the End, is begun from Andrew Brownell in the Undercity at level 37. He requires you to retrieve and return the Skull of the Coldbringer, which drops off the last boss in the instance. Now for the 1 Alliance quest. Bring the Light is begun from Archbishop Benedictus in Stormwind at level 39 and requires you to kill the last boss, Amnanar the Coldbringer. Moving on to the 2 neutral quests, first up we've got A Host of Evil. Now this quest is picked up from Miriam Moonsinger outside of the Razorfen Downs entrance on a hill located right here. This is a great opportunity for the Horde to track down Ambassador Malkin for their other quest, as you'll be killing unique mobs found in the exterior part of RFD. The second neutral quest is begun inside of the dungeon. At the beginning of the instance, you've got 2 different directions you can travel. To go from start to finish, you're going to want to go down the left side and you'll eventually pass by every boss and make your way to the end of the dungeon without having to backtrack to the beginning of the instance. Eventually, you'll end up finding a large room with barricades, and behind one of these barricades is NPC Belnestraz. He's going to ask you to escort him through the dungeon and lead him to the Quillbore Idol, where he'll attempt to extinguish it and will summon the additional boss, Plaguemaw the Rotting. That's where you can obtain all the quests. Now, let's look at the incentives to complete these quests with their rewards. That escort quest from Belnestraz can score both factions a juicy ring with stamina and spirit, which is an upgrade for anyone traveling through this dungeon. The Horde have that additional quest, which has begun from the last boss in Razorfen Crawl, and it rewards some lackluster items to say the least. Although in certain situations, the gun and the one-handed mace can still be an upgrade at this level. Lastly, everybody's looking at that one-handed sword reward with plus 28 attack power. This item's an absolute beast, and melee classes always love to see a guaranteed weapon upgrade if they run through a dungeon. For everyone else who can't use the sword, the Amberglow Talisman is loaded with spirit and stamina, some favorable stats for every class in the game. Now let's look at the boss loot. Here's a quick overview of all the items. Again, if you want a more polished look, check out the corresponding forum post for this dungeon in the description below. Because this dungeon has level 40 bosses, it's one of the earliest instances which drop plate gear. There's a plate chest piece and helmet available from the first and last boss in here. Beginning with Tutankosh, the boss who's summoned by the Gong event, he's got a blue cape, some leather gloves which are always going to roll out with different stats, and of course that level 40 plate chest piece. Next up we've got Mordresh Fire-Eye. This guy's throwing a freaking concert for all the other skeletons in the middle of Razorfen Downs. Don't be mistaken by his rock hard appearance. He's more of a mage guy himself who drops an offhand item and a necklace which caters to mana using casters. Check out that cloth belt though, some fat intellect for all you casters out there. Moving on to the third boss, Glutton. This guy patrols the walkway leading up to the last boss, and he drops some freaking sweet leather shoulders and a unique one-handed axe which has a chance to bleed the enemy target on each hit. Our last normal boss in this instance is Amnanar the Coldbringer. He's got gear upgrades for literally every class, so there's a little something for everybody. Other than the second piece of plate gear, I want to point out that he can drop Cold Rage Dagger. Now, this would be a godsend for any rogue who was running through RFD and completed either Bring the End or Bring the Light, which rewards the Vanquisher Sword, rewarding them with a new set of dual-wielding weapons to aid them on their leveling route. Now let's look at the rare spawn Ragglesnout. He can be found in the huts leading up to Amnanar. He drops a mail belt, a shield, and a pretty cool two-handed sword, Excalibur. Fingers crossed you get him during your run. Lastly, we have Plaguemaw the Rotting. This guy's summoned from the Extinguishing Idols escort quest and drops either some leather gloves or a wand which can only be equipped by mages. Now, the gear isn't that exciting, but if for some reason you really want that wand upgrade and you're spamming dungeon runs with a ton of mages, you can just abandon the quest after you kill the boss and reset the dungeon and begin the escort quest again for an infinite amount of chances at the wand. Of course, Razorfen Downs has its own unique rare BOE table. In case you were interested in farming this dungeon, here's a look at some of the specific blues you can expect to drop. Kind of a cool note, there's a second wand that drops in here, which again is mage specific and increases damage done by your frost spells by up to 10. So if you ever think about leveling up a mage, this could be a cool item to stow away until he hits, say, level 34. that's all I got for this dungeon guide. As always, if you want a quick reference to all the loot available, whether it's the boss loot or rare BOEs, or you need exact locations to all the NPCs leading up to the final quest in the dungeon, go check out the forum post in the description, and have a good day. It's your boy Graysfordays. Latris on the Minjay.